All right.
Brief statement from Coach, and then we'll jump into questions.
Great to see everybody. Real quick, just wanted to announce that this is our mental health awareness game. Pretty much been doing this for about 10 years now as a head football coach. I think it's really important that we bring awareness to, I think, what's one of the biggest growing concerns in our world, especially with young student athletes. And if you look what happened this past weekend, you can't imagine some of what those young people are dealing with, socially. And it's pretty sad, to be honest with you. But, we want to bring awareness to it. I think we've done a really good job, Dr. Carly Anderson, her entire staff with our student athletes do a tremendous job. I've been a huge advocate for it for a lot of years, even back in the Western Michigan days. We have a strength coach, we have a running back coach, you got a linebacker coach, you got a nutrition coach, you got tutors, you got learning specialists to help you academically, but the brain coach, and the number one thing we have in our bodies is our brain. And, I think our staff does an amazing job of keeping that open door policy, not only just with the staff, but bringing awareness and having Dr. Carly come in, talk to them, and then they have the freedom to be able to use her staff anytime, any place, anywhere. I think that's really important as we move forward because the challenges of being a young person are only getting stronger and bigger, and we need to be able to help them do it. And we're teaming up with Rachel Barbeau, who's a speaker and an author now, and she's been around our program now for a very long time, probably 6-7 years. So, she's really done a great job with our student athletes and kept that relationship with them over the years that we've not only done it here but at Western Michigan. So, just want to make sure that if anybody is struggling out there, make sure you look for help. It's okay not to be okay. So make sure you look out there and talk to some people. And, one thing I'll say, we meet every Monday, and with everybody who comes in contact with our student athletes that are not coaches. It's a non-football, non-player, non-coach, anything to do with football meeting. It's about body language. It's about, did somebody say something to somebody? Is somebody looking differently? Did a girlfriend break up with them? Did he get an F on a test? Is he just acting a little bit different? And that way we can all put our arms around him if there is something and look for signs constantly. And that is specific Monday mornings every week just for that, let alone all the mental health things we do. And it's not only mental health, it's emotional help and support as well. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. And if you're out there struggling, you're not alone. I think we all need that time and all need that space and all need those people to talk to, including myself. So I'm not afraid to say that. And, we can all be better. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. So with that, we'll open it for questions.
BJ, Mo talked about that after the game with BTN about talking to a team psychologist and how that was helpful for him. How would you explain kind of the reach that has within the program from players that do it one time to more regular, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think what we can do is, you never want to just force somebody to do anything they don't want to do, right? But you're constantly putting those people in front of them. You're constantly sharing stories that had to do with your life that helped you through it. Our coaches do the same thing. Players do it as well, other players. But constantly letting them know that it's okay not to be okay. But you know that. The minute your star player has an injury and gets hurt. I've had 5 shoulder surgeries. My career ended because of injuries. Our coaches can say the same thing. We've lost people in our lives. When a student athlete loses somebody close to them, what they're going to go through and what they're going to feel. We've all been in a position where maybe we didn't perform as well as we needed to perform. We've been there. We've done that. And we know what we've had to do to overcome that and what we wish we had. So it's that culture of openness and connectivity. And being very genuine, real, and open with them of what the resources are for them to be okay. And it's okay not to be. And we're here to help them through it. But you know what it looks like with body language, because 70% of our communication is nonverbal. And I'm not saying you can look at it all the time. That's why it's 70%, not 100%. But you also know what they're going through. A lot of you aren't, you don't know what we do during the week with these types of meetings, and our academic meetings are basically our health meeting on Monday that we're truly constantly talking about every one of our student athletes as non-football players and finding out what's going on in their life. Are they doing okay? hey, this happened to somebody, so we know that they're going to respond this way. So we all need to put our arms around that person, and we all need to put all hands on deck and all resources forward. So I know it's a long answer to your question, but you can see things coming that they necessarily don't see yet because they haven't experienced it yet. Some of these young people, they've lost their grandmother. It might be the first person they've ever lost in their family. I mean, probably you or I probably lost a ton of people in our life, and we can tell them how we got through that. And I think the more open you are about your life, the better. I think sometimes that our guys are told that, men don't talk. You keep everything inside. That's not how we talk about toughness and being a man. It isn't. It's being accountable for yourself, no matter how you feel. And finding a way to be able to control those emotions by letting others help you do that. Being committed to yourself, mind, body, spirit. Challenging yourself to be a better person and making everybody else around you better. And having this confidence that you're going to have to be able to earn and you're going to have to be able to work on and develop over time. And I think that kind of sums up what Mohammed said, that there was a lot of people and he had a lot of resources at the University of Minnesota that put their arms around him immediately. I can't tell you how many people just right after the game when he got hurt were inside that locker room at the stadium or inside that training room. And they didn't care about him not being the running back anymore that year. They cared about him as a person. And he's heavy in his faith as well. I know we talked about that. So it's not just one person that's going to help you through that. It's going to take a massive team. And that's what's unique about college football is you have a team of people to make you a better player, but make you a better person more importantly. Mentally, physically, emotionally. And this is really maybe one of the only times they have it from everywhere they look, right? And, we got to do everything we can to train them for life as they keep going forward. So thanks for asking that question, though, because it's really important that people understand that, of what these young people go through. It's very different than when I played. It's very different than when you all played. It's just different. It's just our world. It's a lot harder these days. And people can say, yeah, well, just put your phones down and make it easier. Well, that's their world is the phone, the way they communicate. I mean, Gavin started high school and they said, well, he needed some AirPods and they're mandatory. I said, wait, what? They're mandatory for a class? So he has to have earbuds? I'm the one telling them to take it out. He's got them in. I'm like, okay, keep one in. We'll settle with one in. I mean, I don't. So they're constantly connected to the technology. They just have to be able to be armed for it. And hopefully, we're creating that with them, not for them, with them, because it takes a relationship to do that. It takes a lot of trust.
Along those lines, how much of your week do you spend with personal stuff, not football, just dealing with kids and their personal stuff?
A lot. I don't know the percentage, Chip, but it's a lot. And it's a lot more than it's ever been. But we talked about the Monday morning meeting, right? I just had 3 meetings prior to this, had nothing to do with football. We have a leadership council meeting once a week. We have a board of directors meeting once a week. These are player meetings. We have an open door policy. I'll meet with players throughout the week that have nothing to do with football. You're coming up with team meetings that are making them a better person. And again, because I believe if you're a better person, you're going to be a better player because you're going to be willing to do the unrequired work that's necessary to be a better player. Because you're not willing to work hard outside of the NCAA rules, then you're only going to be as good as everyone else. You got to find ways to continue to push yourself to do the unrequired on your own, whether that's academically, athletically, socially, spiritually, building a relationship with your spiritual life, whatever it is. So we're doing everything we can, at least I am, and I'm speaking from the head coach's point of doing everything you can to make them a better person. And allowing them to have the resources that they can. And what we're doing as administrations, pouring more resources in that have nothing to do with another play caller or just an analytical guy, anything like that. It's more of the people aspect of our culture. But that's what I believe. I believe in that. We've been doing that for 10 years, and we're just finding ways to make that better. That's just what I believe. Doesn't mean that's the right way or the only way. It's just what I believe. Better person becomes a better player, and part of the job as a head coach is truly making them better people. That doesn't mean everybody's going to like you and everybody's going to just be hold hands singing down the hallway. It takes a lot of work at it, but I spend the majority of my time, I would say, finding aspects to make them better people and incorporating that into a football atmosphere.
What type of impact has Rachel had when she's been around your program over the years?
I think she's kind of an older sister to a lot of our players. I would call her that. It's amazing when she speaks to our team. Every message she's ever spoken to our team is completely different. And it's amazing how many players stick around afterwards to talk to her. It's not only that. Ask Winston Delababadir about her. I mean, they have become incredibly close. When if we didn't make that connection, they would never have been close. And now he's a coach at Akron, right? And just the ability to have somebody there to talk to, share stories with. She's very real, authentic, genuine with how she speaks to players and what she talks about, because it's very current things that are going on in our society. And I think that's really what makes her really powerful. She's not just telling the same story over and over and over and over. She's constantly adjusting what she's talking about to the landscape of what young people are going through. And I respect that about her, and that's why we team up with her. That's because she's become a member of our staff from the outside, from afar. And it's not just about mental health or emotional health. I mean, it's everything. And she's got a powerful story as well, and she's been very influential in our program.
What were your impressions after seeing film from the last game?
Yeah, I think when you look at the film, I think it was very workmanlike. They executed the game plan that was before them. We needed to. This is a very mature football team. They love to practice. They love to play. They love being around each other. They're very well connected. Again, it doesn't promise you anything. They got to go out there and earn it like everybody else. And they went out there and earned the opportunities they got. But it was very workmanlike. And what I like about it is people always talk about we got to be way better than we were last week. I get that. But what we believe in is you got to be better at executing the game plan that's inserted into that week better than the game plan you had before. But they're different game plans. So you just have to be really good at taking the cultural values of the ball, our body language, the way we play, our style, plug that into the game plan and execute that game plan to the best of your ability. Don't worry about, you can't, that game plan is different than last week. So I can't say that we're going to execute. It's a different opponent. It's a different style of offense, defense, special teams. You got to take the game plan and you got to apply it. And you've got to do really well at that game plan and execute that game plan. And that's what we're focusing on more and more with this team because they work really hard at it. And I'm not saying other teams haven't in 10 years, but this is, like I've said before, that's what I meant by the most connected and committed team. You got to pull this team off the field. Even in afterwards, their unrequired work they're doing out there. I mean, it's really special to see them do that. But again, could we have done a lot of things better? Absolutely. Were some of the things that we did that I like? Yes. But as we go, we're going to get stronger and stronger opponents as we go forward too. We know that with all due respect, and we got to keep playing better.
We saw Quinn get the start and most of the carries at right tackle.
Yep.
We saw all three of them. What has Quinn done to get the more?
Well, I think for Quinn, it's his maturity level. He's incredibly intelligent. He hasn't played a ton of football, when he came from Notre Dame, but he's experienced. He's had those 3 years there. He's got a Notre Dame degree. He's practiced for 3 years there. He's understood elite competition, and I think he won the job. That does not mean JJ is not going to play, and that does not mean Martez is not going to play. It does not mean Nathan Bowe is not going to play. They're going to play. But Quinn's deserved the opportunity and earned their opportunity, I should say, to win the starting right tackle job. But again, we're going to have to play, 8, 9, 10 linemen over the course of a Big Ten schedule to, one, be healthy, and two, to win a lot of games.
So that second point, is Axel available?
Oh, yes. Yep. Axel. Yep, he's fine.
How much progress has Brevin made as a run blocker?
He's getting better. Is he where we think he can get to? Not yet, but he's way farther along than where he was. He's worked really hard. I think Greg Harbaugh has done a great job with him, developing him in every aspect of his game. He really has gotten better at so much. But I think the willingness is there. When you're a kid that's 215 pounds, you're 6'7", and everybody's like, well, are you going to get bigger? Are you going to get stronger? What are you going to be? He is committed to his body. He's 265 pounds. He can run. He can catch. His blocking his strength, his confidence in his blocking is getting stronger and stronger, and I think that shows. Can he be better? Absolutely. Were there some technique things that he didn't do well and fundamental things that got him in trouble last week? Yes, but one thing I don't worry about Brevin is he'll work really hard at correcting all those mistakes.
When was the last time you had your defense only on the field for 33 snaps or so in a game, and how difficult is it then to evaluate because of so few snaps?
I think last year we had one of those games, and it was funny because I had some people in my office, which I won't say who, but I had some people in my office last year. I think we played like 30 snaps, 40 snaps, and somebody came in and they were disappointed because they weren't playing enough. This happened like twice. I'm not getting enough snaps here. I'm like, well, what do you mean you're not getting enough snaps here? I mean, that's a good thing. We're not giving up many points, and we're not playing a lot. Yeah, but I want more snaps. I mean, the last thing I want is our defense playing 90 snaps. So if players are looking for that, then they're in the wrong place. I don't want that to happen. But when you think about how a young person processes that, we only played 33 snaps. It's not a lot. And if you're splitting time, you played 15 snaps. That's why we practiced yesterday and went for a while, because we had to play more football. But I'll never complain about that. I think that's just a credit to our coaches and our players, how hard they play, the mastery of the game plan. Again, not just comparing to weeks before, but master the game plan, do it to the best of your ability. And, but I had to explain that again in a team meeting the next day. Now, guys, listen, we only had 33 defensive snaps, but that is not a bad thing. That is not bad. Okay, let's not complain that we didn't get enough snaps, all right? But I had to explain that back to them because I think some people don't think that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Over the weekend, a couple of FCS teams locally, South Dakota State pushed Iowa. North Dakota was right there with Nebraska. What's your philosophy on scheduling FCS?
Well, I think that, I think it's beneficial for FCS teams. I've been in the Mid-American Conference before. I've watched players play up. I think that there's a lot of financial things that are really good for those institutions as well. But listen, we're filling schedules every single year with who will play us, what fits for us, what the dynamics are for the years to come as we keep going forward. We're scheduling games 15 years out right now. So you're looking at it and you don't even know what college football is going to look like. But I do know the benefits of it, and from each perspective, from a Minnesota perspective, and then also an FCS perspective. But it's a game, and it counts just as much as a conference game, non-conference game. You get 12 guaranteed opportunities, and everyone counts as one. No matter what you win by, no matter whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Everything counts. So we know we're going to get Western Illinois' best shot. We've been working on them for a while already, and they do a lot of unique things on defense that make it pretty difficult. And, we've got to play our best style of football and our best football on Saturday.
One or two more for Coach?
The first play of the game, we saw RPO slant. It seems like that's a Kirk trademark, obviously, from 19. What makes that such a bread and butter thing for you guys?
Well, there's a lot. Here's the thing about the RPO stuff. There's a lot more into it than just an RPO slant, right? And with all due respect, I mean, you're right. You're 100% right. But there's so many ways to do it out of so many different formations, and it just depends on what the defense gives you. And then if they take it away, what other RPO do they give? And Kirk's done a really good job of studying his own RPO game, because I think when you have what you have and then you take it to other places, you also find out how people defend against it. And then not only that, it gives you more ideas to build off of it. And then you learn new ideas that somebody had that maybe you didn't have before, and then you can apply it. But we're just doing everything we can to make our offense better. And there's some oldies but goodies, and there's some new things that you'll see as we keep moving forward. But it's a staple. It's just like, for us, it's just like a play action pass, just like a naked, just like a bootleg. It's just like a zone read. It's a staple of our offense. So you have to find ways to be able to find how you're going to be able to run it that particular week. And if it presents itself, as you said, the way it did, then you've got to be able to take advantage of that. Then some people say you're not going to be able to do it. And then you got to find a new way to do it, right?
Along those lines, you need playmakers too, and it seems like this offense has the potential. We've talked so much about Crab over the years, but it seems like you have some guys there that can make some plays for you.
Yeah, it has the potential of that. I think everything's potential, right? I mean, it's unforeseen future. right, of what these guys, can do. But, the world's full of people that can do it. And it's just, do you do it? But when you look at it, it's more well-rounded than we've had in the past, where you look at Brevin Spanford and Jamison Gears and Nick Caller up at tight end. Those are three guys that all caught passes, right? We're talking about throwing to the tight end first of all. Like, do we ever do that? Then we had three separate tight ends actually catch a pass. And then when you look at the wide receiver, I think there was 9 different people actually caught a pass. We only threw it a few times. So when you look at it, you got the Michael Brown Stevens of the world, the Dalen Wrights, and everybody knows about Crab, and then we're going to get Daniel Jackson back here very soon. And, the Lemecki Brockingtons, the Clay Gearys, and their backs are really good pass catchers. And then Tanner can create with his feet. He's a better athlete than most people give him credit for. It makes the play calling more diverse. It gives you the ability to be way more what we call, as we talked in here before, balanced, where you can be more run, pass, run. I think our first few plays were passes, right? And you can be way more balanced based on what the defense gives you. But you also have to have the ability, as we said before, to go win the game if you have to throw it 50 times or run it 50 times. This style of offense with the personnel we have as of today gives us the ability to do a lot of different things, which help you as you continue to move forward in the season.
One final question, or is everyone all set? All right, thank you, everyone.
That's it. All right, row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers. Thanks, everybody.